Now, for alteration number 7. In alteration number 6, I dropped the arm joint location, and in essence what I did was this distance didn't change and this distance didn't change, but I added a 1/4 of an inch in here. So the full length of the sleeve cap that needs to fit in here will no longer fit. I need to add a 1/4 of an inch in the sleeve cap here. Because I altered the front, I would have also altered the back, so I need to add a 1/4 of an inch here, and I also need to add a 1/4 of an inch there on the front and back of the sleeve cap in order for it to fit in the bodice that I've altered. So what I'm going to do is, just like the alteration here, notice where the notch was. This alteration and the length was added above the notch, which means that I'm going to add it above the notch here as well. So this is where I want to add that 1/4 of an inch extra. So I'm just going to cut along this line. This was parallel to this line right here and perpendicular to my grain line. So I cut that apart, but before I cut it apart I should have added my grain line. Because it's going to help me line it up instead of accidentally putting it too far back or too far forward. So what I'm going to do is tape this on. Extend my grain line. Recall that I added a 1/4 of an inch on the front and the back for this alteration. So I'm adding a 1/4 of an inch here and attaching my sleeve cap on again. I've left a whole bunch of paper this time because look at how, if I just draw a line straight up here, that looks weird. So in order to get this to blend well, I'm going to find the midpoint between these two, and I need to blend through that point up onto the sleeve cap as well. You can use curves. I've got some other curves that I use, so like this would be an okay curve to use to blend between the two of them. If you're going to eyeball it, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing, but it does mean that you need to come back and erase all of the excess stuff. You can't have a whole bunch of random lines in there, so make sure that the new line is really, really clear, and mark out all of the old lines that don't matter. Get rid of these old lines. Make sure I draw in my new seam allowance. I probably should have added more paper down below. So make sure you add enough paper, because right here I would need to add more paper. But you get the concept. And that is how you do alteration number 7 to match alteration number 6.